Welcome to another JB's Journeys. This time I'm in Genoa in Italy, a city that I've got to know well over the last couple of years as I visit regularly on business. It's a fascinating place. Genoa itself used to be the trading centre of Europe and a maritime republic, and it has a rich cultural and historical legacy, as well as everywhere in Italy, a food culture. I thought it was about time that I did a series of walks to highlight some of the facets of this amazing place.
Firstly, though, quick geography and history lesson. Genoa, the sixth largest city in Italy, is a major port located in the Liguria region in the northwest of Italy, sandwiched between the mountains and the sea. For over 700 years, until 1797, Genoa was the capital of the most powerful maritime republic and became the wealthiest city in the world. It was so powerful it flaunted it, and during its time in power was variously known simply as La Superba, the superb one, La Dominante de Mare, the dominant one of the seas, and my personal favourite, La Repubblica dei Magnifici, or simply the Magnificent Republic. It finally settled to be called the slightly more humble Serenissima Republic of Zena, the most serene Republic of Genoa. Its influence and control stretched through Corsica, Sardinia, Gibraltar, parts of Turkey, and surprisingly, parts of Crimea and what is now Ukraine and Russia, making it a true commercial and naval powerhouse of the time. Whilst the power of the Republic faded, its legacy still continues, and the historic symbol of Genoa, the Cross of St. Giorgio, or St. George's Cross, is, as we shall see during our walk, everywhere, and its naval heritage remains an integral part of the Italian naval insignia and flag. Anyway, enough education for one day. Let's go walking.
My walk today, starting off in Piazza della Vittoria, is going to go past Brignoli station and its wonderful architecture, and then up the famous September the 20th Street, which commemorates Italian unification. It will finish in Piazza de Ferrari, which is a famous square with a beautiful fountain. The first stop on my journey today, with Victory Square in the background, and you can see the Arc de Caduti, the Arch of the Fallen, in the distance, is at the Scalinata della Tre Caravelle, paying homage to arguably Genoa's most famous son, Christopher Columbus. And below me are 3 tiers of gardens, each depicting one of his ships, the Santa Maria, the Nina and the Pinta, that sailed with him to see the Americas, or discover the Americas, allegedly, in 1492. It's a terrible angle, but you might just, with a bit of artistic license, be able to make out the shape of one of the caravels. So there's 3 of these at different levels. That's a bit better. Now you can see at least the anchors, and you might be able to pick out the caravel even better. One thing you'll notice about this city as we walk around it is that it's one for the fit. There's stairs everywhere. It's a city that's built between the mountains and the sea and is extremely hilly. However, when you finally do get to the top, with the Ligurian hills in the background, the panoramic view is just gorgeous.
After coming back down the steps, I decided to take a closer look at the Arc de Vittoria in the piazza below.
Whilst perhaps in the need of a little bit of love and care, those who know me know I love a good war memorial, as it's important to me at least that people remember those who gave their lives for their country. The frescoes are amazing, Italian marble, and clearly depict the war and the effort that the Genoese made to protect their country.
The arch, designed in 1919, was finally completed on May 31st, 1931, and opened to great fanfare. Benito Mussolini, one of the bad boys of the 20th century and the founder of fascism, fasces or fasci in Italian, meaning bundle of wooden rods, which refers to the fact that one stick is weak, but bind them together they gain strength. He is actually depicted in the fresco as a soldier on the western side of the arch. Don't ask me to pick him out. as I haven't got a clue which one he is. Mussolini himself gave a speech at a rally in the piazza in May 1938, saying that Italy and Germany, all they wanted was peace.
Known as Arch ai Caduti in Italian, it means Arch of the Fallen, and it's got a magnificent ceiling and more carvings in the middle of the arch.
The Latin motto on the roof, Facis opes ita, alit virtvis iam vividi bello, means the wealth of peace nourishes the strength already vivid in war.
Leaving the Scalinata della Tre Caravelle, I'm heading off towards the road leading to the Natural History Museum because there's some fantastic architecture, and then we'll head up to Brignoli station. As I turn into Brigata Liguria Street, you see the wonderful Natural History Museum on my left. This was opened in 1867 by a very interesting character, which I'll tell you about in a minute, and has more than 4 million specimens, making it one of the largest collections in the world.
The top of the facade of the museum is very elaborate and has a lot going on. The meaning seems to be lost in time, but there are queens, lions, and a small guy with a trident. And of course it wouldn't be Genoa without the cross of St. George. If I was to have my time again, there's a fair argument to say you could do a lot worse than to be reincarnated as Giacomo Doria, the founder of the Natural History Museum. Born a marquis in La Spezia in 1840, he was an explorer, naturalist, botanist, politician, and apparently all-round good guy. He received the highest honour from the Shah of Iran and had a whole menagerie of animals named after him, including the Doria's tree kangaroo, the Doria's goshawk, the Doria's tree frog, and a whole basket of snakes, shrews, scorpions, beetles, weevils, and a slug. And oh yes, a river in Somalia. Not a bad haul. He died in 1913. Continuing on my way, we pass this fine imposing building, the Palazzo degli Vivici Finanziari, the regional finance ministry. Built in 1931, it's a classic example of the imposing fascist architectural style of the time.
I kind of like the way that Genoa blends its architectural history with modern architecture.
As I walk towards Brignoli station, I reach Piazza Giuseppe Verdi, which is named after the famous opera composer, who, whilst not a native of Genoa, became an adopted son of the city after spending 30 or more winters here.
This magnificent looking building is Brignoli Station, Genoa's second largest station, and was opened in 1905 to celebrate the Genoa International Exhibition. As we'll see often in Genoa, the cross of San Giorgio, or St. George's Cross, is a symbol of the city, together with two griffins.
This old photo shows the station just after opening and the gardens that I've just walked through. Brignoli is named after a prominent Genoese noble family.
Inside the large entrance hall, there's frescoes all around and a ceiling which is Romanesque. Outside, the lampposts and the canopy are bronze and a reminder of Genoa in its heyday.
Leaving the station, I walked through some side streets and arrived at 20 Settembre Street, 20th September Street in English. It's a major shopping and cultural street named after the capture of Rome in 1870, which finally completed the unification of Italy. My first stop is at the Chiesa Nostra Signora della Consolazione, Our Lady of the Consolation, once known simply as St. Rita. Rebuilt in 1706 after being destroyed in a bombardment, it was supposed to also house a monastery, but it was never completed, and eventually became the Mercato Orientale, as we shall see. The impressive bronze doors boast two beautiful relief sculptures depicting St. Augustine and St. Thomas of Villanova. Inside, the elaborate dome dates from 1759, and the painted crucifix, suspended high above the altar, is from 1350 and is widely regarded as the finest example of its kind in the world. In a street full of history and just up from St. Rita's Church is Punto Monumentale, or Monument Bridge. As you can see, it's currently being restored. The bridge, built in 1895, was a source of huge controversy at the time, as it replaced the ancient 16th century Porta dell'Arco, which led up to St. Stefano Church, which we'll see in a minute. Today, it is seen as an impressive 21-metre marble arch with a richly sculptured facade. At the end of World War II, the niches and alcoves under the bridge have been transformed into a memorial, with the names of the Genovese who gave their lives in the Second World War. On the right-hand side of the bridge is a marble plaque, which commemorates the German forces' surrender to the partisans on April 25, 1945 at 7:30 p.m.
One of the things I love about Genoa is the range of little shops just off September the 20th Street. Like this one, the Coltelleria, which is a cutlery shop. It's got a great display of knives and cutlery. And next door is a traditional clothes shop and a handmade shoe shop. And of course, lots of Vespas parked in the middle.
On the hill next to the monumental bridge, and overlooking 20 September Street, is St. Stefano, St. Stephen's. It's a 10th century former Benedictine abbey. It sits over an impressive black and white marble portico base, which reminds me of a prison uniform. Not that I've ever worn one. The church is where Christopher Columbus was baptized. Under the San Stefano portico, it is a good example of what is quite common in Italy: porticoed walkways. They provide relief from the summer heat, protection against the rain. The second half of September the 20th Street has different designs each 100 metres or so.
This unassuming structure is Genoa's largest market, the Mercato Orientale. It's located just off the 20th of September Street and was established on the structure of the convent of Nostra Signora della Consolazione, which was founded in 1699. The project was never completed, and the cloister spaces were partially dedicated to hosting shops and vendors. And in the late 19th century, the municipality of Genoa decided to permanently transform it into the covered market. It's one thing I really love when I travel, is going to a local market. Just seeing the quality of the fruit and vegetables, the meat, the fish, and you get a real vibe of how the city operates.
These beauties are Vesuvius tomatoes, or Pomodorino del Pinola del Vesuvio, grown only on the volcanic slopes of Mount Vesuvius near Naples. They have a unique flavour due to the volcanic soils and are considered a king amongst tomatoes. They are tied into a bunch and hung, or pinolo in Neapolitan, hence the name. Italy is famous for its mushrooms, and the autumn is the best time to buy, like these great fresh porcini and these rich and earthy galletti bellasimis or chanterelles.
This strange vegetable is a type of courgette only grown in Liguria, and they go crazy for it. It's called a trompette. And it's truffle season. These black truffles and the even rarer white truffle, one of those is 42 euros, so that's what, about $45, something like that. All the fruits of the season are on offer, so red currants, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries. These are called baby catchies. Then there's fresh clementine oranges, local pears. It's fantastic. These are something you don't often see, is prickly pears. Very colourful. The colours of autumn. This is one of my favourite things when I come to Italy, is a Fiorentina steak. It looks beautiful on this store. You better have a large spaghetti to put all this parmesan on. So they've got everything from new parmesan all the way down to 50 months. This stall is just open for the afternoon and it sells fresh pasta. So raviolis, all sorts of things. And a massive pot of fresh pesto, which you can't walk very far in Genoa without seeing or smelling pesto.
The centre of the market is given over to a variety of restaurants, with a focus on utilising the market produce. It's light and bright, and is really bustling at lunchtime. Just outside the market is a famous pasticceria, or cake shop, called Tagliafico. It's been there since 1890. It has some delicious cakes and sweet treats in the windows. Let's go and have a look. Sounds like the cake police are out and about.
You can tell what season it is from the window display. And these are sweet chestnuts covered in chocolate.
These are crostata, a type of jam tart. They're always in the hotel at breakfast and come in a variety of flavours: forest fruit, apricot or orange marmalade. And you sit and eat it with your cappuccino.
These little biscuits with like macaroon in the middle and pine nuts on the outside look really good.
I finally have to give in and buy myself a slice of this great looking torta spinaci e ricotta, a classic flaky tart simply made with puff pastry, spinach, ricotta cheese, parmesan, everything comes with parmesan, olive oil, nutmeg, salt and pepper. That's it.
Let's see how it tastes. Slightly salty, very spinachy. You can taste the ricotta and a bit of the parmesan. And yeah, I like it. Well, that was fun, but all it's done is made me even more hungry. So the further I get away from the market, the better, I think. So I'm going to continue my walk down September the 20th Street, and we'll go and have a look at other things. This shop is a sweet shop. It's been here for generations and generations, a confiteria, and it's got the most wonderful window display. Inside is every single sweet you can imagine. So colourful, and in the window all your trick or treats are waiting for purchase, and the diabetic nightmare continues in the other window.
The famous Bristol Hotel used to be the headquarters of the Germans in Genoa in World War II. The elliptical staircase inside is said to have inspired Alfred Hitchcock to write his classic, Vertigo. Famous guests include Emperor Hirohito, Rudolf Nureyev and Prince Albert of Monaco. I've never actually understood why so many hotels are named Bristol.
The Italians love a good protest, and this time it's the communists up to their tricks again. They're complaining about the imperialism of Europe. I'm in Genoa, not Moscow.
This next portico is today very apt with a left-wing demonstration happening. Built in 1909, it's a tribute to the workers who built it. It's my favourite floor of any of the porticos with its marble mosaic. It's one of the last sections of September 20 Street. Has a great vibe with coffee shops, gelaterias, and is busy even on a Sunday morning as the Genovese seek out their coffee and brioche. This, the most intricate of the porticos, is the last section running along the side of the Borsa, the historic stock exchange of Italy, just before we get to Piazza de Ferrari.
The piazza is usually crowded and busy with tourists and office workers, but today, so early on a Sunday morning, it's very peaceful.
The building on the left is the Palazzo della Borsa, which was the main stock exchange for Italy and completed in 1912. The last call was on 28th of February 1984. The building is now a conference and event venue. The piazza, as seen in this photo, has long been a gathering place for both rallies and protests. It is where the Genoese flocked on the 10th of June 1940, the day that Italy joined the Axis forces in World War II, following Hitler's defeat of France. This building is the Palazzo Ducale, the Duke's Palace. I'll actually cover more of this in my next walk. It's one of Genoa's most prominent and historic buildings.
On the right-hand side of the square lies the Teatro Carlo Felice, named after an Italian king. It was first opened in the early 1800s, but was extensively damaged during the Second World War and was subsequently rebuilt. As we've seen with most buildings on this walk, it has some great frescoes. And it wouldn't be a square in a major city in Italy without a statue to an Italian hero, Giuseppe Garibaldi.
And of course, the omnipresent Cross of San Giorgio, Genoa's iconic symbol.
Genoa is one of the few Italian cities to have an extensive metro system. This station at Piazza de Ferrari links Brignoli, where we were earlier, and goes all the way to the eastern side of the city called Brin. At night, the Piazza de Ferrari occasionally gets lit up. Not every day, which makes it special. So it's a different colour, I understand, every month. So this month, for October, it's purple. And this is where my journey ends today, in Piazza de Ferrari. I hope you enjoyed coming along on this walk. I will make 2 or 3 more videos while I'm in Genoa, and I hope to publish them soon. In the meantime, if you could, please subscribe. It doesn't help me financially, it's not the point. I just want people to enjoy them, and it gives me the motivation and desire to make more. Until then, arrivederci, and thank you very much.